On today's episode of Shop South Asian, we will be trying out Desi owned makeup brands. Brands like KULFI Beauty, Vasanti, Mango People, and TANAIS. Without further ado, let's get right into it. You know, we always gotta start off with some skincare first before we put on our makeup. So first, I'm gonna go in with the tester of the Triphala Pigmentation Corrector from SACHI States of Skin, a Desi owned skincare brand, which I've talked about in my last video about Desi owned skincare brands. You should go check it out. They gave me a little sample and honestly, it smells like chemicals. I'm gonna apply tiny little dots wherever I have for pigmentation, like under my eyes and around my mouth, before gently tapping and blending it into my skin. It isn't the most pleasant smell ever, like their banana Laffy Taffy scented cream cleanser that I bought from them. Anyways, now that it is blended into my skin, I'm gonna be going in with the fortifying hair serum from RANAVAT. Another little tester that I got. Okay, yeah, I lied. There is gonna be some hair prep too, but you guys can sit through it. First, I'm gonna brush out all of my hair, make sure it's tangle free before I add a few drops onto my fingers. And it smells like jasmine. I put it onto the top of my head for my flyaways and also my ends. I had mentioned this in my previous video about Desi owned skincare brands, so definitely, again, go check it out. Now, for real, let's jump right into it with the brand VASANTI Cosmetics. Vasanti's baby face primer is pore minimizing. So I had also filmed this on my really good quality camera so that you guys can see how it really looks on my skin in detail. So I like to apply a generous amount of primer onto my skin whenever I do my makeup, and putting it mainly around my eyes in that area because that is where I will be putting the most amount of makeup on, and trying my best to be really light and tapping it into my skin, making sure to cover every little crevice around my eyes. I have really hollow eyes, so I'm going to apply a lot of makeup there. Waiting for 30 seconds before I start to apply my color corrector, which is also from Vasanti, in the shade Liquid VO3. This reminds me of my e.l.f. color corrector, but I do really like the applicator on this because it's thin like a paintbrush. It's small, so I like to apply it around my mouth, wherever there is darkness, like on the outer corner of my lips, and also under my eyes, wherever I have any veins. Like I have this very prominent vein on the right side of my eye. Also going in to the inner corner of my eye, right under my eyebrow to cover up my tatted eyebrows that I did myself years ago. And also going to cover up these dots that I tattooed right next to my eyes. I'm gonna get all the tattoos that I don't want removed with a laser later on this year. But anyways, I go in with a tiny brush, starting at my mouth and lightly brushing and blending everything into my skin. I like to really take my time and gently brush. I don't like to press and drag because I want my skin to not be as irritated underneath. I used to be really heavy-handed with my makeup when I was younger because I didn't really care, but now as I am getting older, I really try to take care of the skin under my eyes, especially just gently brushing and blending in circular motions. If I have any acne scars on my cheeks, I also put this over them to just cover them up. I also like to go over my tattoos one more time with the color corrector and blend it in. I bring the color corrector onto my nose bridge a bit to create the illusion of a smaller nose bridge. So these two products from VASANTI Cosmetics are the first two things that I put onto my face. Next, I'm gonna go in with the Mango People Cheek and Lip Bronzer in the shade Dune. I will be trying out more of their products in the future, but I just wanted to get stuff that I didn't have. I really do love how the cap is magnetic and quickly slides back on when you press it down, but this is what the color looks like. It's this terracotta color, which I think suits my face very well instead of a really bright pink. I put this onto the high points of my cheeks and dab it on my lips. Then taking my finger and blending it all out onto my cheekbones. And next, we are going to be going in with KULFI Beauty's concealer in the shade Glossy Guava first, the darkest shade, and then Pom Pom, the lighter shade. Here you can see me trying out the Glossy Guava concealer first. It is a little bit more yellow tinted, so I tried to stick this onto the area wherever I put my color corrector from Vasanti, putting a heavy amount under my eyebrow and along my nose bridge because that is what I want to conceal the most and lighten up the most so that it looks like I have a lot of fat under that area. I naturally have always had really hollow eyes, so I tried to really add a lot of lightness under there. I also carve out my brows and make sure to put a lot where I have my color corrector on my tattoo. Now, I don't wear foundation, I only stick to concealer because I try not to make my face look cakey. So because my skin is oily, I will be applying a lot of powder to mattify this. So don't get scared. Now, with the same brush that I used for my color corrector, I blend out the edges first before going into the middle spots where I have the heaviest amount of concealer. I gently tap that across, as you can see right here. I like to drag it across my entire eyelid, but I only put it onto my corner where my brows and nose meet. Gently on my brows so that I don't remove the concealer and expose my eyebrows. And I like to drag it across in between my eyes, gently blending it out in circular motions across my forehead. Now I go in with the lightest color, Pom Pom, and I like to have that on the high points of my face or basically wherever I want to really bring it out and again make it look like I have a little bit more fat in the area like I said before. I have really hollow eyes and a lot of hyperpigmentation around my mouth, so I just like to apply a heavy amount on there and then with the same brush gently blending everything out. So I never actually like to touch my eyebrow when I'm dragging the brush down. I just like to blend the edges like you can see me doing right here. To set all of this in place, I'm going to be going in with Vasanti's Lotus powder. I like to apply a lot of powder onto my face, and so I feel like because of this knitting, I can't really have a lot of product go onto my brush, so I might just cut it out later, but the actual powder is pretty good. So I like to press this into wherever I see shine on my face, and that is usually around my mouth, under my nose, under my eyes, and on my really big forehead. They did give me a little powder puff to go along with it, but I find it easier to just work with the brush that I have and also use my smaller brush. I like to use my smaller brush to go into details that I don't want the powder to get into, anything else like my brows for example, or my lashes or anything like that. But you can see right here, it has totally mattified my face. It looks so smooth and skin-like. I have really sharp bone structure, and to feminize it, I like to have really matte base skin makeup, which really softens my features up. So now that I'm done with the face, I'm going to be going in with Vasanti's Line Up Lip Pencil in Molten Cacao. It's actually the second darkest shade, which wasn't dark enough and which was giving more natural, which I'm okay with, but in the future I will definitely go for their darkest shade next time. So as you can see, it is very natural, and please don't mind me going a little bit out of order. This is my first in-depth makeup tutorial and I filmed this on 2 separate days. I either start off with my eyes or my lips first, but I switched it up in the 2 days of recording these. So I got a pack of pink and green kajals from TANAIS. I waterline my entire bottom lid to open my eyes up and then bring it to the inner corner of my eyes, taking it out to the end and flicking it towards my temples to elongate my eyes. This step is crucial to make my eyes look way bigger than they already are. I usually like to try to do this with a white eyeliner pencil, but today I'm going to be doing it with a light pink. A little trick that I have learned is to smile so that my eyes have these bags under them and to take the light color and highlight the middle portion of those bags. Don't ask me why, but it works. Next, I go in with the dark green and basically just put that on the edges of my eyes, letting that flick out to my temples. Taking an angled brush and making sure I go wherever the light pink is. I don't like to add a lot of dark pigment onto my actual eyelid. I like to keep my eyelids white, accentuating and lengthening my eyes. Next, we're going to be going in with KULFI Beauty's black eyeliner pencil in Nazar No More. I put this next to the green along my waterline. Now, I do not go over my entire lid. I know some people like to wear their eyeliner like that, but not me. And I also like to put it on top of my brows. not trying to make them super thick. Those are all the different eyeliners that I use from Desi own brands. So the mascara I'll be using today is KULFI Beauty's Buddy Lash Mascara. There have been so many good reviews about this mascara. So me personally, I like to generously coat the mascara throughout my entire lash before I start clumping them together. As you can see me doing right here, I feel like they're more accentuated when I clump them together compared to when they're all spaced out. Kind of giving like an anime lash vibe. I think they have a doll-like cartoon appearance because they're clumped together when you stand far away. Here I am doing my other eyelid, coating it all before clumping it together as much as I can. Obviously, I like to accentuate the ends, the part in my inner corner as much as possible, and also the middle where my iris is. Those are the 3 points that I like to focus on clumping them together the most. Here is what it looks like clumped and unclumped. There is a really big difference, and I feel like you can see the lashes more when they are clumped together. Here in detail, you can see how I clump it all together with the tip of my mascara wand, and I don't forget about my bottom lashes. I just do one little swipe outward, and that is all that I need for them. I love this mascara so much. Buddy lashes for sure. Sorry, I'm Tamil. Betty lashes for short. Okay, I'll shut up. I can totally see why they hyped this mascara up. I gotta show you guys how long my lashes really are. Next is again KULFI Beauty's Lip Staining Oil in the shade Sweet. I usually don't go for such a light lip shade, so I wanted to try to do this for a more natural look. It is a little bit lighter than what I usually try to go for, but I do think that it comes out very natural looking. So, because it is so light, I like to just keep this on the center of my lips to give them a more defined, formed look. So, this is the final makeup look. A full face of South Asian owned makeup products. Because I had an event to go to, I did decide to add a couple of face gems from Embellished by Rowi and also some perfumes by TANAIS and SOMA Ayurvedic. My SOMA Ayurvedic is also a body oil in Madurai jasmine, so I take a couple of drops out onto my hands and put it all over my arms and chest. This instantly brought me back to when I was a kid in India making flower garlands with my grandparents, and I am so happy to also be supporting a South Asian brand at the same time. One of my favorite influencers, Sirat Saini, is actually a creative director for this brand. So because it is a natural body oil, I do put this oil all over my hair, whatever excess I have onto my hands. So TANAIS also has a perfume line, and I got this one called Cosmic because I like the packaging and I'm an Aquarius, so I feel like it matches with my vibe. Also put a bindi or a puttu onto my head while I filmed this for my ending clip before I went out. Thank you guys so much for watching. So this South Asian owned beauty brands thing has been something that I have really wanted to do for the longest time, but I didn't really have a lot of funds to do it since I kind of had to make it on my own after I moved out of my toxic household. I'm really grateful that I'm finally able to buy things that I've always wanted to, and it's not stuff that is materialistic. It's deeper than that. It's supporting my people in a different way, people in my community that are similar to me, and that is something that I've always wanted to do and have always wanted to find. And so I'm really glad that I treated myself to this experience of using these South Asian beauty products, because South Asian beautification is really popular. Everybody loves using turmeric and all that other stuff. I think it is really important, especially as South Asian people ourselves, to be supporting one another in this community and buying from one another. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm actually going to a really cool art gallery event here in Los Angeles hosted by 2 South Asian artists. I'm gonna change my top, but the next video will be all about South Asian clothing brands that I really love, and don't worry, they're not going to be boring. They're going to be Indo-Western, which is what I'm about. So anyways, I need to put on my outfit and then head on over there in the Uber, and don't worry, I will be making a vlog about that really soon. So I need to really quickly get ready. I mean, all I have to do is just put on my outfit and my jewelry, but you guys will all see that in my next vlog that I will put out. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please go support South Asian people and our businesses, and like, subscribe, and follow on all of my social media platforms. They'll be linked down below. Thank you guys for watching. Also, this top is from NAMASLAY Collective, and this necklace is from A La Couture. But I'll make a separate video about clothing and jewelry, so stay tuned for that.